Mr. Schulman, you have been the head of the IRS for over 5 years. You're in charge of the Internal Revenue Service, correct?
I was head of the IRS for 4 years and about 8 months.
All right, 4 years and 8 months. You get 132 letters from members of Congress concerned about targeting, and you send them to Leg Affairs to deal with. Did you feel any responsibility to go to the Cincinnati office and find out for yourself what was going on? Did you ever make a visit to the Cincinnati office?
I guess I don't accept the premise that I got 132 letters about targeting. I certainly wasn't aware of that number till now. I knew about 2 questions.
Well, regardless, when Congress contacts you, whether it's 12 senators or members of this committee, I mean, doesn't it alert you to the fact that, you know, maybe if there's smoke, maybe there's fire? So did you ever visit the Cincinnati office?
I visited early in my tenure the Cincinnati office, which has, you know, many different operations, but I don't believe I went to Cincinnati, you know, during this 2012 time.
You take responsibility for what happened in the Cincinnati office?
Do I take responsibility for the list?
Yes.
Being done? You know, I don't take personal responsibility for there being a list with criteria put on it, but I do accept the fact that this did happen on my watch.
So you don't take responsibility, but you recognize the fact that it happened under your watch?
Look, I recognize that this happened on my watch, and I'm very sorry that this happened while I was at the Internal Revenue Service.
You know, one of the problems we have here is people are unwilling to take responsibility for actions that happen under their command. And you had a duty, as far as I'm concerned, to find out what was going on in the Cincinnati office when members of Congress, 132 of them or 50 of them or 10 of them, inform you that they think that there's some kind of targeting going on. And if that doesn't elevate your concern and interest, then something's fundamentally wrong between the way Congress interacts with the administration and the bureaucracy. Now, Mr. George, the law is that a 501c4 must operate exclusively for the social welfare. That's what the law says, correct?
That is my, yes, that's correct.
Exclusively for social welfare purposes.
Yes.
And somewhere along the line, the IRS came out with a regulation that reduced it to primarily. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
So does the regulation trump the statute?
Well, I'm not here to give legal advice. That is, as an attorney, that is my understanding, that a regulation does not trump a statute, but a regulation can be used to elaborate on the intent of the statute.
So if we just those 2 words, exclusively and primarily, there's a dramatic difference, correct?
Yes, in my view.
And if regulation can't trump statute, then everything that's been going on here relative to authorizing 501c4s, if they're not exclusively being used for social service purposes, is violative of the law, correct?
I would say yes, but we have to keep in mind there may have been court interpretations that between the passage of the legislation and the implementation of the passage of the statute and the implementation of the regulation. So, and I don't have the history of
All right.
Congresswoman.
In your review of this situation, have you identified in Cincinnati the individuals who have developed this BOLO list?
We have not yet, ma'am.
And why not?
We have had some difficulty in terms of getting clarity from some of the IRS employees we've interviewed. Keep in mind, this is an audit. The people we have been interacting with were not under oath. And so if this matter develops further and changes its character, that might change the willingness of people to be more forthcoming with the information.
Now, the committee yesterday interviewed Holly Paz, who's the manager of the Ruling and Agreement Office in the Washington, D.C. And for at least part of the time period, in question, she oversaw approximately 300 employees in the Cincinnati unit that determines whether organizations qualify for tax-exempt status. She said that she was the first person in Washington office to learn about the use of inappropriate criteria in June of 2011. Do you agree with that? Is that consistent with your report?
I have no information on that, but if you'll, I beg your indulgence for 1 minute.
The gentlelady's time has expired, but you can continue to answer.
We do not have any information.